Are you looking at your crooked windows?
That's the best joke I've heard all day.
I just came up with that as soon as I walked in here, seeing you look at your crooked windows.
I got to say one thing to that. Are they crooked now or are they crooked now?
I don't think they look crooked.
There's a process here.
Right? I really think some people don't understand sculpture.
Why would they? There's no future in sculpture.
And Ian doesn't use computers and 3D printers and
And the
all of
roof
the
not even
things.
attached.
It's just like, it's wild. So they're not crooked.
Oh no, wait, the tire pressure's off.
It looks fabulous.
Well, it's getting closer. Let's put it that way.
Looks really good.
Did a lot of sanding, a lot of body filling. Still ain't nowhere near where it's supposed to be, but that's the process. It's coming together. Got a bunch of the low spots filled. Now I'm into the lightweight filler. And that's pretty much good for this portion of it because it's going to be a lot of body work. But the goal here, if you remember, was to be able to take this thing off without it flexing too much. The last part is this crossover. We're going to put some steel under the windows and figure out how we want to interact with the height of the carburetors and the look of the fan shroud. So yeah, those windows are crooked as they're ever going to be, so let's continue.
I like your new sign you have in the background. You should talk about that for a moment.
I'm a member. I not
Mm.
only joined the club, I'm gonna, what is it?
You were inducted.
I was abducted into the
Abducted into
West,
the
I was
club.
abducted into the West Coast Customs Hall of Fame.
Yep. 2018. So we're giving a shout out to all of our West Coast custom
What's
friends.
up, folks? We will see you in Santa Maria
We're representing out here.
that weekend. I always forget the spring weekend, whatever it is,
Memorial Day.
Memorial Day. We will see you there. This definitely isn't part of that scene. That car? Heck yeah.
Penny wouldn't allow that. No.
I think
She loves your creations, though.
I think everybody would respond, but
Yeah.
there's a whole thing about the West Coast Customs is it's like it's old school for sure. It's like street lowriders, customs with a K, some of the traditional oldies stuff. You see a lot of that, but mostly in the vein of customs of the 40s, 50s, and 60s. So
And let us not get it confused with the other West Coast customs.
that's why I think that one says original.
Yeah.
It's like original recipe. That
So
chicken.
this West Coast customs, who has all been inducted into it, people that would
I'll go
know.
to their website.
Yeah.
Just Jamie's gonna put a link to their website.
I like it.
See how we're figuring this out? I'm gonna finish off the surround with some steel wire rod. Fella, I think he's in Florida, and I'm so just back on messaging and everything. You see this fan shroud? He said, "Hey man, that's a cool look for sure, but it's missing some pieces inside, so the engines tend to overheat." So he makes these steel kits with the proper shapes. There's veins that direct the air inside. So it's a do-it-yourself, put it together yourself kit. So I'm going to be using his steel one in the long run, but this is a great mock-up. So thank you, sir. I will try to figure out who the heck sent it because I got so many people. Well, Jamie, so many people are lining up like, "Hey, check this out. I got this for you," etc. And I apologize. It's not that we don't appreciate you.
Right. We totally
It's
appreciate
an
it.
overabundance in some cases of
It
just
can
like,
be very overwhelming sometimes.
well, I spent all day yesterday not only cleaning out the back room of the house, but going through a lot of that cool stuff, and hung up some things. You see that was in the house, that awesome
Yeah.
UFO and the flag,
There
shop
was
inspector sign. Yeah, there's so much awesome stuff that people have sent. That Dr. Pepper machine, the same fella, they sent us the dog treat inspector dog treat machine and a restored Dr. Pepper machine.
It works. We had to move everything out because currently this is the status of our house. If anybody is,
And it's gonna rain tonight. We had a crew of 3 guys in there. They tarped everything inside and out. Uh, they just, as a reputable company, they don't want us to breathe any of the dust or whatever they're going to be
hmm
cutting out of the inside of the house. They confirm there's no asbestos in there, but they got the whole. It looks like ET
it
should be
does look
sick
like ET.
inside of that house right now.
That's what I thought when we went in there.
There's like that machine that's blowing air into it. I mean, I don't know. Who knows what's actually going on in there? They said keep out. I bent this to fit that while we were having our little discussion. Isn't that cool?
Yes.
So that's going to sit somewhere in there. Then 2 other steel rods are going to tack weld to these frames and just kind of bury back in there somewhere. The idea is to create just a contour. I was thinking at first maybe to have the body come down like this, but I think that just looks too over exaggerated. I think we're just going to go with a tight little radius right there and out. Nothing too elaborate. Would get in the way of the linkage and stuff also. So yeah, I like this. Let's make a couple crooked marks and begin to fasten this. Actually, first, I'm going to do the sides, then I'll insert that one. That way we'll have something to weld to. Just like when I said I was going to split the roof and then didn't, and then did. Change my mind every minute. Looks like a good piece. Look at that, it's already curved.
I wonder what you were going to use that for.
Let me cut this and tack it into place. I wanted to have an arts and crafts, exclusive arts and crafts channel where I got to build sculpture, patios. But no, the fates were not in line for that. So here we are building cars with deep background in the sculptural arts. The world needs more patios. I'm going to keep this in context with the way I build a lot of things because it's all about the symmetry, right? So we're going to cross over with one piece, then we're going to put the 2 ends on, and then we'll put the center in. But the key is if I was trying to build a whole thing over here, it'd probably be a little bit more difficult to duplicate that. Let's see, this will put a good steel grab between the 2 sides. A piece of rod this thin, I don't want to heat it up and get it all warped. I'm going to pull a little bend, shoot down that way. I duplicate that right here. Make sure they're both the same before I continue. All right, just getting those 2 in the same conjunction. Yeah, so that'll be cool. This is going to get all fiberglassed in.
So I have a question,
Yes.
and maybe I missed it because I have a lot on my mind today. But so you are welding that in for the framework that you'll fiberglass in eventually?
Just like I laid all that loose material here,
Uh-huh.
so there's a big gap here. So I'm just going to use this as a edge to be the line drawn, sort of like the skeleton here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was thinking, but yeah, I just my brain
But
was
the
all
most
over the place.
important thing with the steel is that I didn't want this, when I pick it up, it's going to have the opportunity to really flex.
Hmm.
So now there's a steel bridge going right across.
I see.
So it won't crack. I mean, the fiberglass wouldn't crack either, but it'll be more flexible. So I'm going to put in this little raised hoop right here.
Oh my God. They're in there tearing our house apart right now.
I hear it.
They went and had lunch and then they
And
came back and they're ready to rock.
I hear them. Let me really eyeball this. That way it's perfectly crooked.
It matches the dome of your head.
We're going to go like that. Actually, I'm going to leave this loose and then cut it. There it is. All right, so looking at it, straight down, appears to be groovy. Air filters and carburetors are where they're supposed to be. So yeah, it's just a very simple surround. This is going to be the same process as earlier, where the larger holes are. I'll back it up with some of that foil tape, fiberglass mat it in, and then begin piling on the material. But this puts a nice drawn edge around it. But that's not what we're even here to talk about.
No.
Nope. I've stared at the back of this car for too long. It's time to switch it up. I'm talking about the front of the car.
Yes.
Just like with the project, right? I jump around. I'm like, okay, I don't want to get too focused and ruminating on this when there's still a whole car to build. So it's like, okay, we got a plan here. If we're going to change anything, we're not too far into it. So let's look at the front. I'm going to push this back. Oh, look, there's the catatory. This is a concept. Look at this. A little aside. So the cats like to sit in our window and look out, and we have a piece of chicken wire stapled to the window. So Jamie was like, imagine like a little shelf where they could just like perch. So my idea was it's like a bird cage, right? This will be fleshed out more so the cats can't get out, but this is just a brace. So the window's in here so they can get outside the window a little bit.
And it looks cool.
I mean, who doesn't want that on the side of their house? Back to cars. I saw that look in your eye when you came in. You said, why is the hood back in the shop? I saw you do that.
I did. I was like, what?
And I corrected you. I said, that's actually the roof, Jamie. I said, you probably looked in and said, why is the roof back in the shop?
And I was like, why is the roof back in the shop?
Because what's this missing from the drawing, aside from 4 fenders and everything else? There's no visor on the windshield.
I was just going to say that.
Mm-hmm.
You read my mind.
So we're going to use a piece of the original roof, and we're going to make a visor out of steel that will be completely fiberglassed in, but the idea being this cap will remove to do the continuing work inside, but the visor will be welded to the car, and it'll all get glassed in last. But that's why I have this little back space on the fiberglass here. We're going to weld the visor.
This is where you're going to get to know Ian. Because a lot of people had something to say about the rake or whatever of the windshield. But the visor, I feel like, gives it that look that you're looking for. Am I
Oh,
right?
Johnny's drawing also showed the windshield facing forward like the Boonie Bug almost.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, let's not get too carried away because if we extend the visor over, then we can come back with a little slash cut on this A-pillar area.
Right.
It's
So
not
for
going to look like
those
a
of
Volkswagen.
you, have faith.
Get
Keep the
that
faith.
Volkswagen
This
out of
is
your
church. This is car church here.
How big of a visor do we want? 3 feet? That's 2'6". Do we want 6 inches?
Well, can you start it like make it bigger and then cut it back as you
Yes.
decide?
Yes, we can.
And like you're not going to use that for anything else, right? That hood?
Probably.
Maybe,
I mean, this is precedence right now.
right? So
We're gonna
what
cut.
where'd you say 6 inches was? Yeah, I feel 6 would be good. But
Let's
you
discuss.
are the car builder guy.
The Hall of Fame
That's
abductee.
that's your job.
All right, got a little 6-inch mark on there. Nothing too formal in this. We're going to cut it back on the car.
I like it.
Be a lot cooler if it was centered on the car, wouldn't it? I actually like that angle too, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, still got to go to the driver's side. There it is. You know how I never use that English wheel over in the corner?
Yeah.
I'm going to take out that little ridge, that little roof line, make it smooth.
It's cool.
That tool does so many cool things, but I just don't use it. It's a great airline holder, right? See, I'm starting to get some rust on it. Total bummer. I know some of the real pros with this machine will be like, it's already rusty, dude. It's junk. I'm going to start by just taking some of that hard crease out of it. It's getting a little less, see, in comparison. Tighten it a little bit more. Yeah, there's a whole thing. The fellow who taught me a bit, he spent the day, showed me a lot. I just never use it. But man, can I take the crease out of a visor? So there it is. Got a little bit of a line still, because that's where the paint is thickest, but let's do the same with this side. Found this fella on Instagram. I just started following. Turns out he follows me, and he's just a way, way better craftsman than me. And I was like fascinated. He's doing this Zephyr project, and I've done 2. So I know what he's dealing with, but turn it to a 4-door, regular kind of, I think it wasn't even a Zephyr, it's the Lincoln whatever, but it has that Zephyr nose. And he's got the English wheel, he's got the buck going down the side of the car, made these voluptuous fenders, turned it into a hardtop 2-door, and I mean, this dude knows his stuff, and here I am, taking a crease out. Gotta start somewhere. All these people saying, oh my God, he's the best fabricator in the world. Zip it! Do your research. There's guys out there doing stuff way more advanced than me. Anyway, story time's over. Stay there, a rat. I marked this before we took it apart, so I know right where it's going to go back. Cool, I'm going to tack this in place. And we'll get to shaping it and edging it. And tack it in the center, then do each edge. All right, now let's take a look at this side profile, because that ain't gonna fly. Get out the old envisioning rod. We're gonna want this to flow down into that drip rail right there. So pretty much, that's kind of what I'm thinking. Any critique on that?
No, I think it's good because I think it'll flow too with the lines of the car.
Good answer. Let me get a clamp. Look at that. There's your answer right there. So, use the mirror image. Bada bing, bada boom. Now we'll see how that adds up with the actual facts. Hey, can't argue with that. Right? Look at that. Don't take your eye out. There it is. This is a cool little trick. If you look right here, you see how the material is low. See it from this side better. See that space in there? So instead of hammering that down to weld it, I just tack this on and it'll lever it right out. Let that cool. Then just pop it off and I can grind all that. Recheck that contour. Plug it right in there, that'll hold it. So that's what we're looking for right there. Cut that off. That's pretty funky. Let's stand back and consider. Oh, I'm already done considering. Look at it from this angle. That's the cove that Johnny had drawn. Especially that. It takes all that stumpy flatness out of the windshield. So of course we don't want a big sharp edge right there. So we're gonna bit it out with a piece of round stock on the end, round rod. Yeah, that's cool.
I really like it.
And you know, the fin, of course, is just gonna right to there and down the nose also. I mean, hey, come on. Nobody, not even myself, saw that coming till right that minute. Is this an antenna? Yes, it is.
It is an antenna.
This is stainless steel.
Oh, that was for my bike.
Yeah, I was like, wait a second, this is tapered. Definitely not going to use that. I'm going to finish this edge off with this round rod. Going to set it in place right here and begin. A lot of times with this round stock, I'll say that I don't want to heat it up too much, but in this case I do because I want to curve it. So I'm going to start to just weld it closer and closer together so I can get this thing to radius out with the sheet metal. But guess what? Welcome to old age. I can't see a thing. I don't know what more to say about that, but heck yeah. Still a lot more welding to do. But you can see by using the MIG just the way I was, I'm able to just put a lot of heat into this. Now where it gets a little weird, it's annealed. So just hammer it out, finish welding it. But that's a pretty funky visor, if I do say so myself. I like it. Like, I
I like
really
it
like
too.
it. I have to match that joint up a little bit better. Let me get the big pliers. Cut. There it is. Right there. I think we're off to the races. This thing's starting to look weirder by the episode. We're on the right course. Stay tuned next time. We're gonna throw this bug out the door and do something way different.